Hi guys, so right now I have some butter that is frying in my very hot skillet. To this butter I'm going to add onions and bell peppers. Now you can leave your onions and bell peppers kind of long. That'll be fine. You don't have to make them as tiny as mine. Just for this particular recipe, I prefer to have my onions and bell peppers be very small. And I'm just going to cook these until they become translucent. And then we'll go ahead and start adding our thinly sliced ribeye. Alrighty. So we have the onions and bell peppers, and they're starting to get a little translucent, and also some of them are starting to brown. So we're going to hurry up and throw in some ribeyes, okay? And I leave the fat on. This is about I'm sorry. Can't say that wrong. This is actually 4 ounces of ribeye that I weighed out. I get them preset in the package where it's just a little 4-ounce cut. Really cheap cut of ribeye meat. And I'm just going to go ahead and give this. I had my daughter cut it, and you still cut it against the grain so it'll be nice and tender. Don't get crazy and just start cutting it. No, cut it against the grain. You still want your meat to be nice and tender. And I actually put in about a half of a small onion and about a half of a small bell pepper. And it's going to be like plenty of onions and bell pepper. So if you were doing 2 steaks, you could with no problem. But I'm going for a little extra vegetable in my diet. So I'm going to just do this off of 1 steak. Okay? And this will make several of your Philly steak and cheese cuts. So you're going to love this. Now, the meat is all done. See how quickly that cooked? It's all done. Everything looks really great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this off the heat, and we're going to start making our sauce. Now keep the same skillet. It's a 1-pot meal, okay? Well, not really 1 pot, but 1 pot for preparation anyway. Okay, so we got the skillet. As you see, I left a little onion and bell pepper in there. And what I'm going to do now is melt about a tablespoon of butter, because I'm not making very much sauce. And to that, I'll add about a tablespoon of flour. And I like to wait for that to melt a little bit, so I'm going to crank my fire up so it'll go ahead and get to it. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to season that butter and flour. So you can add salt and pepper or whatever spices you don't mind using. I'm just going to add a little bit because to my steak, I added plenty of garlic, of course, because that's what I do. Let's see here. Now we got our butter melting pretty good. And since the butter started melting, I'm going to add my tablespoon of flour. And if you want, you can season your flour ahead of time. So you can add an already seasoned spoon of flour. You don't have to, but you can. I'm going to just season right into the skillet. Of course, I'm going to add a little Tuscan garlic that I'm hoping is coming out of my container. There we go. Now I can see it. A little bit of more spice here. And then I think that's all I'm going to add. Ooh, and I'm making a mess, aren't I? Okay, so now, you see how it's quickly thickening up like this? That's fine, no problem. If you remember from the gravy video, you know this is just par for the course. The next thing I'm going to add is a little half and half. It's going to help break up the monotony. And you can eyeball this. You seriously don't need to measure out your half and half. It's not that serious. And you'll see exactly how it looks here in the video, so you'll know what yours needs to look like. See, now it's cooking all fast for me. And I'll just bring it down a little bit. I tell you, if you guys don't have one of these little Nesco burners, at least for traveling or something like that, because that's why I got mine, you should really get one. I get it so that when I go to hotels and things like that, I can bring my own food and cook meals in the hotel room. I do that. Alrighty, so now just melt it down. You're probably going to end up using about a cup, maybe a cup and a half. And if you don't have half and half, don't panic. Use milk, use heavy cream, use whatever you got in there. One of those three. It's no big deal. So now I'm just going to stir this and get the lumps out. And this is going to be a process where you're going to be adding a lot of liquid to get to the stage that you want to get to. So once you have all your lumps mashed out, you can go ahead and start adding cheeses. Now let's talk about cheese while I'm aiming for lumps here. And keep in mind, mine won't be lump free because I did leave a few vegetables in here, my onions and bell peppers, because that's what I wanted to do. And you can add jalapenos to this. It's really good with jalapenos. I like that. So, let's discuss the cheeses. I am not a big fan. Well, I like Swiss cheese. I shouldn't say that. I really like Swiss cheese, especially as a topping. It's really delicious. A topping on a Philly steak and cheese sandwich. Love, love, love it. But it doesn't have a really strong flavor. So I just don't see the point sometimes. When it comes to Swiss cheese, it just seems so pointless. I like to have like a robust flavor in there. So this time I'm not going to use Swiss cheese. Instead, I'm going to throw in a few pieces of Monterey Jack. And as you see, it's not that much. But that's because I will be adding a few pieces of extra sharp cheddar. Okay. And then I'm actually going to top these off with a little bit of mozzarella. And I know it sounds weird, but it tastes delicious. So go ahead and get this all melted down. If you need more milk, add more milk. I'm going to tell you right now, or half and half or heavy cream. I'll tell you right now, once mine starts to melt down, I don't want it to be too thick. So I'll probably add another 3 tablespoons of cream to this, okay? So let me go ahead and get my sauce melted down and I'll show you how we're going to assemble. Okay, so our sauce is ready. As you see, it looks like a gravy, and it's because I did it in the same skillet that I cooked the meat in. And I got those onions and bell peppers and everything, and it also helps to keep the children out because they're like, oh, it's just a little lumpy looking gravy. But it's not. We know better. So now I'm going to add all my meat back. Now, you can just put your meat directly into your cup if you're, worried about how much meat you're doing. You can put them right into your steak and cheese cups. But I'm going to go ahead and just mix mine with the sauce because I'm going to use a specific amount and I know how to measure it for myself. So definitely do you. If you got something that you use to scoop, like an ice cream scoop, use that and spoon it right into the cups. And now I'm going to show you also, this is ready to go into the cups. I don't know, it just looks like steak and gravy right now, doesn't it? Oh, but it won't taste like steak and gravy. I promise you. Alright, so now we're going to get ready to do the cups. And I also want you to see the way my daughter folds her wontons into a cup. So let me go ahead and move over there. Okay, so I'm going to show you how my daughter does her cups. They start off really big. Okay, a wonton wrapper is kind of huge. It's just an egg roll wrap. Yeah, there you go. She's got one. So they hang all out of our little muffin pan if we do that way. And I can do a lot of these because this muffin pan has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 24 slots. So we're good there. But all she does is just kind of tucks the corners in. If you can tell. Yeah, so she just tucks in the corners. So now all I have to do is take my... I'm going to do a little butter spray into an ice cream scoop. And I'll use an ice cream scoop in order to get my ingredients in there. And just to kind of show you what I'm doing, I'll go right into the cup just like that. And I don't fill up the ice cream scoop. I know some people are going to be like, that's too much. The ice cream scoop is in full genius. So, I get some critics, like some serious critics. I'm just like, seriously, my damn food. Okay, so now we have the ingredients in the cup. And then I can just top it off. I like to put a little mozzarella because mozzarella is such a heavy cheese. And so I just put a little grated mozzarella on top. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to do all these cups. But I also want to show you something else that I do with this. And that's spinach cups. So if you guys have seen the spinach dip video that my daughter did. And she's actually the one that's like helping me right now. Well, the one, not the one working the camera, but she's the one here on the side showing you guys with the cups. You guys have seen her spinach dip, right? So I'm going to take a little bit of her spinach dip and I'm going to just put it directly into the cup. And let's see, I didn't even fill that cup up. I'll probably make this one hers. Whoop, whoop, if I don't make a huge mess here. But you can make these little cups. They're good for parties. And different little things like that. If you want like little appetizers. And you got a bunch of picky people coming. You can do some with the spinach in it. And it's a nice little finger food for people. Okay. There we go. So we got spinach cups and we got steak and cheese cups. You can also take a little ground beef, especially if you cooked a lot of ground beef. Like I cook a lot of ground beef. I usually have a little bit left over. So I'll take that and some refried beans, throw it into a cup, put a little salsa with it, top it off with some shredded cheddar cheese, and then plop them all in the oven at bake 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending upon your oven, because higher altitudes is going to be different. I'm in the south, so the timing is a little off. Alright, so you can throw those in the oven, top them off with a little bit of cheese, and you're good to go. I top the spinach ones off with a little mozzarella because it is a heavier cheese and it tastes really good on those spinach cuts also. So I'm going to get these done, and once they're done baking, I'll come back and show you the end results. Okay guys, so they're all done. I have one here on the plate. This is a steak and cheese one. I think they came out very well. As you see, it just lifts, no problem. Now your steak and cheese ones are going to be a little greasier than, of course, the spinach would be. And that's fine. It's also to be expected. But they lift right out easily, so make sure that you just take and give a little light spray into your baking pan here, okay? And they'll just pop right on out, and you can, like I said, serve them at a party, serve them to guests as appetizers, however you want to do it. Just have fun with it. They're delicious. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.